And it's currently 45 degrees here in the Upper Miami Valley, mostly cloudy skies. Looking outside the studio and inside the studio with me, I have Brad Reed from Tri-County Board of Recovery and Mental Health Services. Good morning, Brad. How are you?
Good morning. I'm well.
So you're here to talk about today. We had some really bad weather.
Well, I think we ought to talk about the weather.
Yes, let's talk about the weather. We had some really bad weather yesterday. So,
and I don't know that it was totally unexpected, but certainly we don't expect weather that severe this early in the year. Mm-hmm. The January tornadoes that we had were unexpected, mm-hmm. and the February tornadoes that we had were unexpected. And I think by now we need to learn to expect the unexpected. But what I want to talk about with the weather is how it can affect people, mm-hmm. Mentally, emotionally. Weather, especially sudden weather and almost seemingly random weather like tornadoes, can really be traumatic. Mm-hmm. We see situations where in a storm like we had last night, maybe 2 or 3 houses on a street will be severely damaged, and the rest of the houses on the street are completely untouched. Mm-hmm. And, that leads people to say, well, why me or why not me? And there's a lot of guessing. But really what we have to understand about weather systems like that is that they are chaotic. And, there's really no logic to it, I guess. And nobody's targeting you or nobody's, singling you out. It's just luck of the draw. It just happens. It can be particularly traumatic for children. They, especially younger kids, don't always understand what's going on. You may hear the sirens going off.
Yeah, they were going off last night.
And, kids, like dogs, kind of read the mood and emotions of the adults in the room. So if they see that adults are scared, kids are going to be more scared. It's okay to be scared. And it's, you should probably tell the kids, this is a scary situation. It's okay to be afraid. That's what helps keep us safe. It's the ones who go out and stand on the roof to see how close the tornado's coming that you really have to wonder about. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's the thing with kids. It's hard not to stay calm, and because they can't read that. If they think mom is upset or dad's upset, they're gonna get scared too, and that stays with them anytime a storm would happen, and they remember how they felt at that time.
Yeah, and any breaks in routines. It seems like a lot of these storms happen in the evening, mm-hmm. Just as it's getting dark, which makes it harder to see what's going on. It interrupts bedtimes, so bedtime routines are affected, which can lead to anxiety and so on. So it is a real thing, and I guess we should tell people it's not anything to be ashamed of. If a storm like what happened last night scares you, good, because it should be scary. That's your brain saying something threatening is happening. We need to take measures to be safe from it.
Yeah. And how can you help someone that you have friends I have friends in Indian Lake, how can you help them?
So first off, just reach out and connect. Just, touch base. Are you safe? How are you doing? Is there anything I can do? All you need to do is that much. Just touch base. If people persist, it's not uncommon for, 24, 48, 72 hours after an event like that, even a week after an event like that, to be kind of jumpy, to have trouble sleeping. Every time you hear a high-pitched sound, you think it's the sirens going off again, things like that. But if that persists for really more than a week to 2 weeks, then it's probably time to reach out and seek professional help. So we have a list of providers on our website. We should mention our website at www.tcbmds.org. And first off is the 24/7 crisis hotline. If you're a resident of Miami-Dade or Shelby County, you can call the crisis hotline at You have it in front of you.
I do.
I don't want to misread it, so you read
the
it.
crisis hotline is 1-800-351-7347.
Thanks. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You can talk to an actual person. They'll ask some questions and determine whether, a crisis needs to be dealt with immediately, or whether you need to call and set up an appointment for an assessment, or maybe they'll refer you to other resources. But, that's certainly available, and people should take advantage of it. There's also a crisis text line at 741-741, which is a national text line. And if people are really concerned and they can't remember any of those numbers, they can call 988, which is a national suicide and crisis helpline. But then beyond the phone lines, you can go to the website. There's a page called Resources that has a list of mental health providers that you can talk to. There's a page specifically for weather. So, how to respond to weather trauma. Good tips for individuals, and good tips for parents who have kids who are struggling with weather. For instance, kids often lack the language to describe what they're feeling, but they can draw pictures, or they can do play acting, with toy figurines and so on, and really kind of give you some insight into what their mental state is. So observe their play, observe their drawing and things like that. If they seem to be unusually withdrawn, they just sit around with their headphones on, looking on their tablets, maybe try to draw them out a little bit, because they may be, what's the term for it? Doom scrolling. Just looking for pictures of the disaster, and that can kind of reinforce the trauma. And then you probably did the same thing I did last night. As soon as the warnings came up, we got the news on.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
I watched it all night.
And then while the news is on the TV, we're on our mobile devices scrolling, trying to find what the latest information is. If you continue to do that, you just feed that anxiety and feed that fear. And for kids especially, that can be harmful. So definitely turn it off. When they start repeating themselves, turn it off. You've already heard this. You don't need to see it again. Turn it off.
Oh, that's good advice. Because, that's what you want to do. You want to immediately go to Google and then look at everything. And, and just also. And so if people give the number again, that people that were affected, and if, so they can reach out for help. Yeah,
the 24-hour crisis hotline, 800-351-7347, or you can text 741-741.
So you were supposed to. So this is like perfect timing for you to come in today, because you were going to come here Monday. We rescheduled. So this is great information, especially today, of what our area has had to deal with. And thank you so much, Brad. And again, you can reach out to the Tri-County Board of Recovery and Mental Health Services. And so you want to let everybody know what else do you do at the Tri-County Board of Mental Health and Recovery Services?
So at the Tri-County Board, we don't provide clinical services. We actually contract with other agencies to do that. We're actually prohibited from doing direct service at the board. But we do a lot of training and education. We do coordination amongst agencies to make sure that people in high need get the help that they need. We were talking before we went on the air. We're in the process of purchasing a property that was in the direct line of the Bradford storm last night. The properties that we use for housing persons with mental illness or who are in recovery. We own 17, soon to be 18 properties in Dark Miami and Shelby County. And we manage funding and things like that. So we have our hands in a lot of pots, but we mostly just try to make sure people are well and happy and living their best lives.
That's right. And if you want more information, you can go to their website. It's at, I think I have the website here. Do you have the website?
I do have the website. www.tcbmds, that's the initials for Tri-County Board, Miami Dark Shelby, tcbmds.org. Again, we have a weather page there, so /weather. We have a resources page /resources, but all of those are linked on the homepage, so you can get to everything.
Yeah, thank you. It's right in front of me, but I just realized that I'm going to have to go to the eye doctor again because I really had to pull it back way back. I'm like, oh, goodness. Thank you so much. That was Brad Reed from the Tri-County Board of Recovery and Mental Health Services. Thank you so much for coming in today.
Great to be here.
And I hope you have a good rest of your day, and we will check in with you next month.
Great. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much. Coming up next, Matchbox 20 with 3 a.m. It's Hits 105.5.